know that you could possibly be eating pesticides? If you knew that, would you choose to eat them? In essence, some companies that use bioengineering are offering us pesticide-infused products, such as food and other stuff I'll talk about later. Today I will talk to you about genetically modified food. Why? Because as a consumer of food, I am conscious of what I'm eating. In recent years, genetic engineering of certain crops has become more popular, but also very dangerous. First, I will give you a brief history of pesticides. Second, I will explain the process of genetic modification. Then I will mention the role the government plays in genetic modification and the regulation oversight crops and corporations. And lastly, I will mention the potential hazards genetically modified food poses to humans. In World War II, nitrogen-based bombs led to the creation of nitrogen-based fertilizers, and nerve gas was slightly altered to make fertilizer. Farmers were promised higher yields, cheaper production, and more availability. In 1970, Monsanto, an agricultural seeding company, created Roundup, and it quickly became the most popular herbicide. In the mid-1990s, Monsanto genetically modified seeds to become Roundup resistant, making it possible to spray fields without killing the plant. Since then, genetic modification has grown, but not to the liking of all farmers. American farmers not buying Monsanto seeds are losing their crops over patent laws and Monsanto deceptive practices. Now that you know a little about the history of genetically modified food, I'll talk to you about what genetic modification is. In the process of genetic modification isn't unlike getting vaccinations today. We inject our bodies with a virus as well as the antibiotic to make our bodies become immune to the virus. First, what Monsanto does is when they found a soil bacteria that was resistant to Roundup, but the soil itself would not penetrate the plant or would not last in the plant without a virus. So they took the E. coli virus as well as an antibiotic and injected that with the thing. And this is kind of what it looks like. This is the bacteria of the soil that's Roundup ready, and it's put into the corn, and then with antibiotic and E. coli, it's put into the dish, and then it forms corn. Now that you know how the plants are modified, I would like to explain the process that the USDA and the FDA has for the marketing of such foods. They don't. All foods must be approved by the FDA and USDA before they can be marketed. But Monsanto petitioned the U.S. government, bringing it to the Supreme Court, arguing that their seeds were substantially equivalent to classical breeding practices and they should not be regulated. Because of this, they fall under the generally recognized as safe foods and do not require to be labeled or tested. Although there is now a proposition in this coming state election, Proposition 37, about the people wanting their foods to be labeled. In a recent poll released by Pepperdine University and the California State Business Roundtable, found that Proposition 37 had the support of 65% of likely voters. So most people want their foods, if it's genetically modified, to be labeled. Mostly, we are unaware of what foods we eat that are actually genetically modified. Foods such as corn, soybeans, canola oil, and milk are found in many, many foods. And soy and corn are the most genetically modified crops in the U.S. today. They can be found in such foods as breads, cereals, and even ice cream. If what you're eating does not claim to be GMO-free, and it has these ingredients in it, it probably is genetically modified. Now that I have informed you about the FDA and USA EPA regulations, I will discuss the potential risk the foods possess. But I'll show you a picture. These are lab rats. Testing has been done for their eating genetically modified food and these massive tumors. So scientists are scared that this could happen to us. That's one thing. The rest I encourage you to research. So today I've informed you on the history, the process of, and the risks of genetically modified food. Corporations like Monsanto argue that genetically modified foods can reduce crop waste, producing higher yields, and elimination of world hunger. Although it may seem like a good idea today, it might not be such a good idea in the future.